So one of the things I want to talk about, because I've gone no contact with my narcissist since he left. I've been silent since the relationship was over on Christmas Day. And I have to remember that it was my way of taking control, because he's had control of my life for 10 years. What I do, what I say, even kind of to some degree how I looked. Because he would just be like, I don't like those pants. I don't like that on you. You need to throw that away. Or he would throw my clothes away. So if he didn't like the way they looked or the way it looked on me, he would throw them away. And why he didn't like them, I may not ever know why he didn't like them. Maybe he wanted my shorts to have a zipper and a button, and they didn't, so he would throw them away. So it's a way of kind of gaining my control back. And when he was there, most of what he said was just abusive. There were lies. And a lot of times it's because they're afraid of abandonment. And they like to stay attached to someone. They don't care about their new supply. They may be pretending that they're better. He's doing that with me as well. Initially, I've blocked him on almost everything, so getting a hold of me is not quite as easy as it used to be, and I've had to block him off a couple of my business accounts as well, so that way he can let me know I'll never be the woman that he's with now, who happens to be almost 20 years younger. And you're right, physically I will never be a 30-year-old again. I'm 50. There's no way I'm going to be a 30-something-year-old ever. Yeah, you're right, I'm not going to be. My mindset, my experience will always be that of a 50-year-old. But when he became dirt. It was nothing but dirt. It was lies. It was cheating. It was deception. He lacked empathy and compassion. He never once told me he loved me. He rarely even showed that he cared. Each time I had, for example, I had surgery. So my gallbladder filled up with stones and I got a blockage. I actually had kidneys and my liver starting to fail because of the blockages. Do you know who was with me in the emergency room? I was there by myself. I drove myself to the emergency room during one of my attacks. You think he was there while I was being taken care of? No. Do you think he came while I was having surgery? No. He tried telling me, oh, they wouldn't let me in. They're not going to let you in the surgery room. Yeah, you're right. But he didn't even show up because my family told me. My mom was there for me. He was busy at his employee Christmas party with one of his other side pieces. He wasn't there with me. And then when I had my shoulder surgery, same thing. Oh, I can't get you eyes. I can't get up in the middle of the night because I work in the morning. But yet when he had COVID, do you know who he was asking for to help bring him his Tylenol and cold packs regardless of the time of the night it was, or morning, or whenever it was? It was me. Do you know who had to come home at lunchtime to make sure he had what he needed when he had COVID? Yeah, that was me. But you don't get the same response from them, and they don't seem to care or have empathy. They expect you to do it, but they don't expect to do it in return. When I had my shoulder surgery on my left arm, which is my dominant arm, he didn't even want to make me breakfast. And then when he did, he's like, oh, I'm going to show you how much better I make pancakes than you do. That's not what it's about. It's the fact that I can't even make pancakes right now because I can't move my arm. But yet, even the day after, when I still had the nerve block in, I got up and made him breakfast. But the following day, when my nerve block ran out, it was a fight. I'm like, that's fine. I'll just, you know what? Don't ask me to do anything for you, because if you can't even do it one day, right after I had a rotator cuff surgery is what it was. So they actually put you can watch my video on it on my YouTube, but they anchor your rotator cuff back to your bone, and it's a very painful experience in recovery as well. So he didn't want to do any of that for me. And then lastly, I recently had to get a stomach hernia fixed because it was sliding up into above my diaphragm. So they had to pull it down and reattach it to my diaphragm and then close up my diaphragm, my esophagus. And actually I went in, my oxygen levels dipped, and they were worried about organ failure. Do you think he called me to check on me after surgery? Do you think he called my mom to ask how I was doing since my mom was with me? No. Do you think he even cared when I told him, hey, I'm on oxygen? Oh, well, when are you coming home? Like, all he was worried about was when I was going to make his breakfast again and when I was going to be home to make his lunch and provide his meals. I ended up spending 2 days in the hospital. I was on oxygen. But they don't expect to provide the same treatment that I provided, because I'm one of empathy and compassion. So just know that a lot of times I know a lot of times they're referred to as demon babies online, which to me is kind of a harsh word. I don't necessarily like that word. But it's because they want their power. They don't want you to have any power. They want to have all the power. And eventually I just got tired of helping someone who didn't want to help themselves. He was like a leech. He was training and depending on me. So I was expected to pay all the bills. I was expected to pay the rent. I was expected to do most of the cleaning. He did vacuum the living room since that's where he slept. No one else went in the living room. That literally became his room. He washed the dishes because he said he didn't like the way I washed dishes. But I cleaned everything else, like spider webs, walls, floor, stove, kitchen, sink, counters, everything. I did everything else. Even bought the laundry detergent. He didn't even buy laundry detergent or, anything like that. Ajax, none of that stuff. I bought all of that. It wasn't anything that he did. So he continued to just leech on. He lived rent-free, and he continued to cheat on me. And I finally just put my foot down. Like, you know what? You want this 35-year-old? Then go after the 35-year-old. You know what? I'm done with you. But I wanted someone that was going to treat me like the queen, because I treated him like a king. It wasn't like I treated him awful. I mean, and even now when the police came, he's like, oh, we don't fight. Well, of course we don't fight. We don't talk. We don't communicate. You're busy in the other room texting your little girlfriend all day. We don't communicate. There was nothing for us to communicate with because this relationship's been over. You checked out a long time ago, and I'm done just being your little leech. I'm done being your financial aid. I'm tired of being everything that you need me to be. Well, I get nothing in return. So he was finally gone, and that happened on Christmas. And it was quiet, and I was happy, but I was sad too, because it is a change after a decade of living in just pure chaos. It is definitely an interesting roller coaster after that, because you're on a different emotional roller coaster. So the roller coaster they put you on of fear, violence, discard, love bombing, you're going through this constant roller coaster with them, never knowing whether they're happy or sad or angry, if they like you, they hate you. Did the new supply get angry, or they checked out? Are they with one of their friends? Or are they, something else, right? And so once he was gone, now you're on another roller coaster. You're angry, you're upset, you're sad, because the person you thought loved you or cared about you or were going to be with you at the end, because in love bombing, that's what they said. We were meant to be together. We'd be together forever. You see that in the future faking, as it's called, when they fake the future of you together. We made plans for the future. And so that's all future faking, and that's part of the future faking. But they'll continue from the start. Once they've started it, it'll always be like that. And I had to realize that that wasn't the person for me. But I didn't want to hear about their success, and I don't think he wants to hear about my success either, because ultimately, he's very happy, and he wants to let me know that he's very happy with his new fiance, which is fine. They can be happy, and I'm glad he's not hitting her. I'm glad he's not abusing her. But ultimately, I know that's just a mask. I know that's the mask that he wants to gain control over her. And in 3 to 6 months, the first time she starts cheating, or the first thing that she disrespects him or accuses him of cheating, or he starts cheating or seeing someone else, that same thing's going to happen. Now, there is a possibility, depending on yours, that they're going to try to hoover you back, trying to get you back. Mine did the first time 10 years ago. We had split up for cheating the first time. I only dealt with him for 6 months. But when he came back, he promised he wasn't going to do it again. And it took probably about 3 years before he came back and tried hoovering me. And I was stupid enough to believe him. But that was, that's part of the hoovering process. This time he's completely blocked. He had to change a phone number, which is how he got a hold of me. And he actually got a job directly across the street from my work. So when I was out at lunch, on my lunch walks or whatever, I would walk past him, and then he would start a conversation like, hi bros, how are you? I'm fine. And then keep going. And then that conversation ended up, oh, you look good today. Oh, you're going to Wendy's? You want me to go? Let's go together. It's my lunchtime, or it's my break. And then it was like, oh, let's just go have lunch down the street. I got a half hour. I got an hour. Let's spend time together. And so it just started out something very simple, where the love bombing started again. And I didn't realize what I was getting into until it was too late. I didn't realize when he said, oh, I got 30 days to get out of my place because they're doing a remodel, or, they're whatever they were doing, right? Because my lease is up. I got 30 days to get out. I didn't realize he was seeing someone else. He did the same thing to me that he did to this new young lady. The same thing. Oh, I got to get out 30 days. We're just roommates. Roommates? You were in my bed. How are we just roommates? Cordial roommates, as he's like to say it. I'm like, no, that's not how my roommates are. My roommates pay rent. My roommates clean up after themselves. My roommates don't have me cooking after them. Don't have me meal prepping all 3 of their meals during the day. They don't They don't do this stuff. They handle half the house load. You don't. You're a leech. You're pretending we're in a relationship. You know how many times you told me you were going to leave and you never did? How am I supposed to believe that this is going to be one of the same? You weren't boxing your clothes. You were still ordering stuff online, like you like to say. But again, it's because he found a new love supply that was serious. And this girl is so scared of being alone that she wants a man that's almost 20 years older than her, who may actually be older than her own mother and father, that she's very happy with this 52-year-old man who has children the same age as her, and somehow thinks that, you know, just because he hit me or was violent as well as his prior ex-girlfriends, that somehow she's going to be different. So please know that that's not happened. He may be silent, and he may be living his life, and I may never hear from him again, and that's fine. Initially it's going to hurt, but I know ultimately I'll be very thankful if I never cross paths with him again. Do I think that he may end up thinking about where I'm at, or he may see me somewhere in the future? He may. And I hope he is very envious and jealous of where I'm at, because he won't be with me. And I know I'm going to be successful. I'm starting my second master's degree, second grad school, just because I need to prove to myself that I am worth everything that I think I was worth. And I am going to accomplish everything I said I was going to accomplish without him. I don't need him holding me back. I don't need to be doing dishes and vacuuming the floor and cleaning up after a 52-year-old man. And right now he's in a love bomb stage with this 35-year-old as a 52-year-old man, and that's his focus. His focus is to keep this 35-year-old entertained, and that's where he spends every free moment. That's where he goes. They work together, so you know they're spending their lunch together, maybe even after work. I don't know anymore, because again, we're not together anymore. But I know before we broke up, that was the situation. He even went down Christmas Tree Lane with her family while I was in the hospital. I'm literally dying. My organ failed. I was at risk of organ failure. My lungs stopped breathing. I had to go on oxygen. And he's literally taking his mistress down Christmas Tree Lane. And spending Christmas together and going out to lunch and dinner together with her. And, that kind of made me mad. And I think that's kind of what drew the line. And so just remember that, ultimately, you do better. Know that they're not thinking about you. They will probably hoover back if they see you doing better. But don't let them. If they think the grass is greener on the other side, let them stay in that playground, even if the grass isn't. We know there's no one better than you. We know that there's no one that's going to treat them better than you treated them. There's no one that's going to accept them better and more than you accepted their flaws. Just like I know no one else is going to accept all the flaws and all the crap that he did to me and continue to stay with him and continue to love him like I did. Someone who nearly tried to kill me and suffocate me and beat me and hit me and nearly tried to get me to drive off the road. And I still stayed with him, which is very stupid. Please know that I'm not going to say I'm not stupid in that situation. But who else is going to do that for him? Nobody. There's no way. Unless this 35-year-old is dumber in love than I am. But as an empath and a woman of compassion, that's all I could think about is how do I fix them? How do I, help them? How do I get them not to be the way they are? Because ultimately that's what I want to do. I want to help everyone be more successful and help them reach their goals and help them be the best person that they can be. And so ultimately that's where I'm at today. And that's how I got to where I'm at today. But remember, there is no one better than you.